Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. You join me again on the E36 M3 touring project, and this time we actually have it on the lift. So let's take a look underneath and see what we're working with. In the first video I showed you around the outside, but now we've got the car up on the lift, and let's take a look underneath at the more important side really, because obviously, as I said, the car's going to have full paintwork done, so the underside is more what we're looking at. Give you a brief look. Starting at the very back, it all looks pretty good. I mean, compared to the M3 Coupe, a lot better. It's all straight. That's a big start. Everything kind of obvious is going to get changed. All the diff, suspension, arms, pretty much anything that bolts on is going to get changed. So the first thing we're really looking at is kind of like up in here, up in these pockets. They do seem pretty good. Moving down, just starting to see a little bit of rust on the edge where the underseal is starting to just kind of come away, but generally pretty good. Much the same on the other side as far as I know. I mean, until I actually take stuff off, that's going to be the real proof. But from a cursory look, looks pretty good. We come down, wouldn't really expect any of that to be too rusty. Down along here, we start to get our first look at like a little bit of rust just on the jacking point there, just coming through, and then the underseal's just failed there, and it's just coming away and just started to rust, but feels pretty solid. I'm not too worried. Like I said, completely standard car, standard height, so the frame rails look like generally they've been untouched. Maybe they've had a little fight with something here, but nothing major. Same on this side, you can see underseal's just starting to come away. A little bit of rust. But generally, again, nothing too bad. That all seems pretty solid to me. So I think it's just going to be a case of peeling back the underseal back to where it's good and retreating it. I'm not overly planning to fully strip the underside of the car and re-underseal it, because so much of the underseal does seem really good. I just want to protect the edges that have started to come away. All of this doesn't matter at all. Every single piece of that's going to get changed. Kind of standard, leaky, bit oily, dirty, but you know, like, it's got things that show it's never really been touched, like standard original front dampers, things like that. Just generally, it doesn't seem like it's been too molested. It hasn't had loads of bad cheap parts put on it, so I think it's been looked after, or just generally maybe not had any maintenance at all. But somehow, considering it's got 130,000 miles on it, the underside of this car is shockingly good. I am really, really pleased with just how good this looks. One of the first things I'm going to do is get rid of this catalytic converter, because this is probably worth about £800 just to get the metals inside out for reuse. That's going to be a big help to the budget, so let's get that off first. I have gone through, cleaned up the bolts, given them a little spritz with some inject crack. See how they go. That actually went a bit better than I was expecting. Everything came off fairly easily. The exhaust, the stock exhaust, way heavier than I thought it was going to be. Real struggle on my own, but managed to get it. Luckily we have an engine table, which really helped. Let's take a quick look at the exhaust. Little odd things like heat shields always get really badly ruined. This one seems really good and I can reuse it. And as said, that is the standard catalytic converter. That's where the money is on these. That's why people jack them up, cut them off. Let's get a look underneath and go on to the next stage, which is where I wanted to clean this down. I've got some degreaser, some drawer attachment brushes. Just plan to give this all a good clean, just to make sure what I'm dealing with is what I think it is, which is something that's fairly solid and good. I haven't found any like surprises, nothing's worried me so far, so that's all positive. I do want to try and get the side skirts off as well, just to double check that. But in general, that's all gone pretty well. I'm going to get to cleaning now, sticking to the time lapse on, maybe do a before and after, left and right kind of thing, something like that. And see just how clean we can get this underside and see if it isn't worth stripping all the underseal back and redoing it all, which I don't really want to do if I don't have to. Okay, a little midway update. As you can probably already see, the difference is pretty massive. It's been pretty simple to do actually, although I don't know how hard I was expecting it to be. It's come off really nicely, just with that brush attachment and the built Hamber Surfex APC. It's come off really nicely. I am absolutely filthy, don't know why I showered this morning, but as you can see, the results are really good. You can see where all the damage to the understeel is. There's not a lot, which I'm really pleased about. Good in here, you can kind of see where I couldn't get to with those brush attachments, but I'm not too worried right now about getting super clean. I just wanted to get a better idea of what I was dealing with. You can see around here, up here. The brush attachments were fairly rigorous, I suppose would be the word. But I wasn't worried about damaging the underseal, because if it damaged the underseal wasn't good. I was kind of using this as a way to test and see if it was attached still or if it was just hanging on for dear life. All along here. You can see kind of the body colour just made its way over a bit, but they hadn't fully painted the underside. And then compared to the other side, it is a massive, massive difference, and something I'm really glad I did, because it's going to give me a much cleaner place to work. It lets me see what is actually damaged on the car and what needs to be repaired. And so far, I'm really pleased that it's not as bad as one of these could be, really. So now I'm going to do the other side, and then we'll take a look at the finished result. That's the process all finished, and I've got to say I'm really happy with the results. The bits I have cleaned have come out really nice. It was pretty simple realistically. I'll show you the products I used in a minute. It's come up really nice. I'm really happy with how it's looking. It's given me a good chance to get a bit closer up with the underside, and you know, it's kind of like when you buy a car and then you give it your first wash, and you notice all the little faults. This has given me a chance to get a bit more used to the underside and get a look at it in more detail. I've noticed up here, possibly the car was jacked up incorrectly or something like that, as it is dented inwards here. Not sure how obvious that is on camera, but that line should be straight. I'll show you on this side. Yeah, it should be a fairly sharp straight line. That's a bit annoying, just something to check. It doesn't really affect anything overall, and I'm not going for an overall concourse build. Looking along here, it's all really nice. You can see where the colours come over from the main spraying of the body, but they haven't gone all the way, so that's fine. That's nothing to worry about. Can take a look at the chassis rail, which I did note was already damaged. Clean that up, you got a better look at it. Doesn't seem to be anything to cause concern. They're pretty thick metal, those chassis rails, so that's nothing too worrisome. Looking over here at this jacking point, the front wing has been replaced, and I think that's where they've lifted the undersill and caused that rust. But again, I've checked it over, it's not weak. I think it's just pretty much surface, so that should be okay to just repair. And I'll speak to the body shop I'm working with, the restoration guys, to see how I'd best do that, whether that's something they tackle, because it will obviously be fully approachable when the car is back together. If you have a look over here, yeah, you can see how the undersill lips over the front wing. Where those two bolts are, that is actually the bottom of the front wing. So you can tell how replacing it would pull the undersill up and let moisture get in. I did also take a little look whilst I was there of cleaning the aluminium with it, and it did come up pretty nice actually. That's pretty clean to me for a quick go. But I watched a video by my friend Adam, who runs whose YouTube channel is called the Downshift channel. He did a review on Frost Alley Clean, where he showed the process of cleaning a gearbox with it. That came up really nice. So I think I'm probably going to use that product maybe on my own gearbox, you know, bits and pieces like that, because that seemed like a good product and it cleaned it up really nicely. Product wise, this is what I used. It's just some Built Humber Surfex HD. I did some searching on Google from that. Kind of places like Detailing World, that seems like a really good resource. People who understand car cleaning a lot more than I do said it was really good stuff. Diluted it pretty low down, maybe 200 ml to 2 litres, you know, not very much, maybe 1 to 10, 10 to 1, I don't know how you usually say that. Just a pressure pump sprayer, and then these drill brush attachments, you know, just to get some mechanical work in there. And it came up really nicely. I'm really pleased. That was pretty simple, and I'll be able to use all this on other stuff that I'm taking apart and cleaning up as well. I did also yesterday strip these hubs down. I did have the old GoPro on my head, so let's cut to that now. I forgot I had to take these apart, and they're going to be fun, I can already tell. After the last video, Aston told me he had punches, so I'm sorry about using your sockets. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty new, which is promising. Does this socket I bought fit? Hope so. Yes, although it's loose. So maybe that's a 44, not a 46, which I thought it was going to be. Ping. Oh, I'm going to really regret not doing this on the car. Excellent. Thank you, Phil. Much appreciated. Okay, so Phil from Dream got the nuts off for me with his air gun. They came off quite easy, but like I said, they look like they've been recently replaced. And then he gave me, well, he asked me, he's like, how are you going to get the hubs out? And I had no idea. So he gave me a puller set. Didn't film it because I didn't know what I was doing. It's pretty sweet, it's hydraulically assisted, so it's really easy. So let's give this one a go, see if this one's as easy as the other one. Use the old cap just to give me something to press against. Just like that, that's so simple. I mean, I know these probably aren't the oldest hubs in the world, judging by the condition of them, but that's so easy, I can't believe it. This tool is probably like £600, but this is so much easier than the ones I've used before. Just caught on the cap now, but so far up, I reckon I can probably just tap that off now. Okay, one lambda bung should work. Look at that. Like a dream, which is a unintended pun on Phil's business name. Absolutely destroyed by the elements. So I also need to get this race off, I think. Oh yes, you beauty. Wonderful. Oh, it's working. Man, this thing is good. Oh, feels like it's got it. Yep. I think that is now a fully stripped hub. I don't know if that bit should come off as well. It doesn't really look like it should. Obviously it's very corroded. There we go. Yes. Excellent. I did have a look. This seems to come as part of the wheel bearing kit. Or I might have to order it. So I don't know how I'm going to get it off. I can try using that same method, I guess. But I might have to kind of cut it off. Definitely moving. Oh yes, this is what we want. Okay, let's see if we can get this off. How good? Yes. Perfection. So now that is a completely stripped front, I don't know what you call it, spindle, knuckle. Can't wait to get this all blasted and into lovely powder coat. Looks so much better. Okay, in the last episode, Phil got these off for me from the rear hubs. I thought the whole bit gets changed, it doesn't, but I need to get this race off so I can get a fresh one on there. Luckily it's going to be the same as the front ones were, I think. Okay, it doesn't seem to be separating. I don't know if it's just digging into the hub is the annoying thing. So let's try. Because the idea is these jaws are supposed to dig in and pull the race off. Which they're really doing, although I may have just seen light there. Okay, heating up has definitely worked. You probably can't see it. Now I can get the puller itself. Well, that was more annoying than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, overall that went pretty painless. Once again, thanks to Phil from Dream Automotive. Having all the right stuff, made it super simple to do. These came up pretty nice, and now, I know I said it last time, but now I think pretty much everything is ready for powder coaters. The last thing I've just got to do is figure out what I want to do with the diff. Do I strip it fully down before I do that? And I've got to measure the backlash, which I've got the tool to do that for as well. So I'll show you me figuring that out. Okay, so we're going to leave the video there. I'm really happy with the progress that I got over this weekend. I've done a couple things that were really pleasing. Got those hubs stripped down, got that cleaned. Really pleased with how that came out. As you can see, it's now dark. It's the end of Sunday, got work tomorrow, and I very clearly do need a shower. Completely pointless having one this morning. Next video-wise, I'm thinking probably start looking at the engine. We've done a lot of suspension stuff, and I think it's probably getting a bit boring. So let's take a look at the engine. Let's have a look at that S50 B32, get that all cleaned down. It's pretty oily. It's had some oil leaks on it, and then kind of go from there. I am hoping to get Steve, Mr. Vanos, down. He's going to rebuild the Vanos with me, kind of explain how a Vanos works. He's a very clever guy. I don't know how a Vanos works, so that's going to be pretty interesting for me to find out and be able to see it, and I'm hoping to show you all as well, and I think you'll find that pretty interesting. And from there we can kind of decide how deep I want to go into that engine. I'm not going to do a full kind of explode it out rebuild, but refresh, reseal, that kind of thing, skim the head maybe, all those kind of little things just to keep it nice. Thanks again for watching, guys. You got any advice? Kind of where you think I should be doing things, places I've gone wrong? Definitely not wearing eye protection was one of them. Definitely going to go and make sure there's nothing in my eye when I get home. Yeah, get down in the comments. I love to have chats with you guys. I'm always there to reply. It is one of the things that's been really good about doing this project on YouTube is the back and forth with all of you. Your advice, your thoughts, that kind of stuff. Or hit me up on Instagram as well. I do post kind of progress pics as I'm doing it, just on my stories, but obviously here is the main way of doing that.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please remember to smash that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. If you want to join the conversation, please drop a comment below and we'll try our best to respond to you. If you want to watch more of this project, you can do so over here. If you want to watch what YouTube thinks you might like from our other content, you can do so over here.